Hi everyone, welcome to Tapping Your Creativity in my studio. I am so excited to be here today. We have an incredible, talented artist, Jamie Blitcher. She is an artist based in Rockville, Maryland, and she's going to join us today and she's going to tell us about her process. So interesting, you guys, you've never heard anything like it. Unfortunately, she went through years of infertility, and she used that to go through her artwork using, and here she is, so she can tell us all about how she uses her creativity through those difficult times. So I'm so excited. She's going to join us any minute now, and she is live right now. And she is frozen.
Oh no!
There she is.
Okay, hold on.
Can you hear me, Jamie? I think we'll be okay. I can hear you okay.
Can you see me? Am I pixelated?
Yes, I can hear you. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, but it will work itself out.
Yeah.
I think it's just it will take a second, but it will work its way out.
I know.
Jamie, welcome. I'm
today.
so excited. I know. It will hopefully, once we start moving,
Yeah.
hopefully it will stop being so pixelated.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we can hear you. So for now, let's just
Okay.
start talking, and hopefully it will resolve itself. And
It'll
if not,
settle down.
I guess we'll start it. It will settle down, and if not, I guess we'll start again. But
Okay.
for now, Jamie, tell us your name, where you are, where do you work, and what type of artist are you?
Yeah. So my name is Jamie Kushner Blitcher. I live in Rockville, Maryland, with my husband, my twins, who are almost 2. They'll be 2 next month. Kind of crazy. And I am a buyer at Total Wine. So I've been a buyer for a lot of years now. I was a buyer at Ross, at West Elm, then at Amazon, and then I started at Total Wine about 5 years ago. Am I still pixelated?
No, you're good. We can see you.
We're good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I would call myself a mixed media artist.
Okay.
Anything I can get my hands on,
Yeah.
I'll use to create. I do a lot of not like whatever's trash is definitely my treasure for art.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like,
tell us a little bit about your childhood. How, were you always interested in art, or is it something that came later in life? Were you always creative, or how did you start your journey?
Always creative, always interested in art. I found pictures of an art party recently that's like super 90s. Always interested in fashion, always interested in trend, always interested in interiors. And in high school really is when I was practicing a lot. I would paint. I always liked art with home decor or art with accessories.
Yeah.
So I would paint tote bags for all of my friends, which they're kind of really in right now. So I'd like someone to find them. I actually grew up in a family that was very into sparkles. I know it sounds funny, but my mother's an artist and my grandma was an artist. My grandma, Elaine, who my son Ethan's named after, would rhinestone anything under the sun. So you'd come to her and be like, oh, look at my new jeans. And she'd take them, be like, okay, we're rhinestoning them. And they also owned a retail store. So I really grew up in a retail and creative environment. I would call my family, my mom and my grandma, free spirits. I would call myself the same. And I'm the middle of I have an older brother on one side and a younger brother on the other. So I had a lot of time with my mom to create.
Yeah.
And then I lived in New York City for 10 years. When I was at Fashion Institute, that's where I went to school. I did create a lot. But then then I was working. I was young, working, dating. I didn't
Did you
really
think
get
at
to
that
practice.
time you would go into fashion or?
Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Always home decor.
Okay.
That's really what I'm passionate about.
Okay. And we'll talk about it later because you are still
Yeah.
involved in that, which is great.
I am.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about your inspiration and how you started this line of work and why you started this line of work.
Yeah. So, I'll spare you the full war story, but in 2015, my husband and I moved back here. He's from Maryland as well. We both went to the same high school, a year apart, and then met on J-Date in New York City. Very, very cool. Didn't know each other growing up, but we always knew we were going to come back. So we came back and we were like, we're going to have a family tomorrow, right? Because that's kind of what you think. You're like, okay, I'm going to snap my fingers, sneeze, and then a baby's going to pop out. Because that's kind of how it happens. I've found out. And in 2015, we started trying to have a child, and that nothing happened in a year. So we went to Shady Grove Fertility, which is right here in Rockville, and they have them all over the country now. And I had 3 IUIs. So I'm going to use jargon, like infertility jargon.
Okay.
Are you in the know about some of them?
You can talk about that.
Yeah, I can just explain quickly. So an IUI is basically a turkey baster to get you pregnant. It's not, and IVF is more invasive. IVF is when they will actually retrieve your eggs, pair them with sperm and become embryos, then reimplant them back into you. Yeah. IUI is much less invasive, and that's usually what they do first. So I had 3 rounds of IUI, so 3 months, none of it worked. So we decided to go on the IVF trail, and while going through this, I just have to say that I really didn't know anyone else going through this. I had a couple friends who had success, but, I was young 30s, and it wasn't super common in my age group to go through fertility treatments, or so I thought. And I was a buyer at the time, so I was going to all of these home decor shows and just getting inspired and getting out of my
comfort zone
world, out of my comfort zone, and saying, I'm so inspired by these colors. You know what? I'm distracted right now. I'm feeling good right now because I'm looking at these colors. I'm looking at this composition, and I'm feeling something, and I need to bring that home because I'm feeling so lonely right now going through all of this.
Right.
And art is a comfort zone for me.
Oh,
and
art
it's a
is
place
healing.
for me. Art is healing. It's a place for me to be my total self. And I have to say, infertility is just a terrible, horrible thing to go through. And it's a very lonely process, even if you have a very, very warm, comforting environment and support system, which I did. But I was quiet about it at first. So January 2016, we started our first IVF cycle. Wait, is that right? 2017. Okay. We had the IUIs in 2016. 2017, we had our first IVF cycle. So we got 5 embryos, which was really good. So they retrieved that for me. I went on all this medicine, etc. The first one worked immediately, and it was actually twin boys, and we were really excited. And then I went in for a sonogram, and nothing was there, and it was really hard because you think IVF is going to work, and then you have a miscarriage immediately, and that's like, I have chills now because I haven't talked about this in a while in this depth. And then we had our so that was the first. Then we had the second transfer, and that didn't work. Then we had the third transfer, and right before the third transfer is like when I came out of the infertility closet, I called it, and came out on Facebook that I was going through this, and the reaction was crazy because I had been posting some of my paintings because I found it to be a healing thing to get the reaction that I wanted. Oh, that's Can you hear my ferocious Labradoodle?
It's okay. It's okay.
This is my quarantine studio.
Let's keep going. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. So that was the third transfer. Again, was a miscarriage.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
At which point, yeah, it sucked. And these were what they say, grade A embryo, grade AB embryo, grade AB embryo, and then these two little ones that just kind of slid along, like slid by. So that wasn't enough insurance for me. So I decided to retrieve again. At the time, they found endometrial polyps, so I had to have, or cysts, so I had to have surgery for that. So this is me going under 4 times in 1 year. It was,
That's insane. Oh my God. I don't know how obviously Art got you through it. Yeah.
It really did get me through it. This is meditation. This is relaxing. I would go home and paint. I would wake up in the morning and paint and then go to work. And at work, I was thinking about painting because I didn't want to think about infertility because I didn't want that to define me.
Right.
And I found an incredible community on Instagram of other women going through the same thing. And I actually started using the IVF needles that I hadn't used in my treatment. And
can you show it a little closer to us?
Yeah. I filled them with alcohol and with ink. And I'll show you guys in a little bit, but that's what I used to create because that was healing for me. I felt like I was birthing something.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we had the two, go ahead. We had the 2 embryos that just made it. And then we retrieved another 2 embryos. And we were so excited about these other 2 embryos. And we said, this is enough. We've been through so much. We want to transfer 2 embryos. And my doctors, the fertility land reproductive endocrinologists are pretty against transferring more than 1 embryo for a plethora of reasons. But he said that he will transfer 2 embryos if, and only if, it was these 2 little ones that kind of got by. And those 2 little embryos are my twins, Ethan and Bennett, who are almost 2, and they're just, I call them liquid sugar. They're just, I'm so happy that work. Yes. Thank you.
So what happens is great things happen in times of adversity, right? Yes. And that is when things get invented, discovered, and you maybe rediscovered yourself through the pain and through the loss again and again. And I think that your artwork, it was a salvation. It was a way for you to escape that feeling of anxiousness, stressful, feeling lonely. You had a companion in your artwork. And
absolutely. Totally agree with that.
Yeah. And so
it gave me a different identity.
It totally did. I think that, and the fact that you're still involved in that community and you're giving back and you're helping, I think that is fascinating. And we can talk about that in a little bit, but why don't you show us a little bit of the paintings that I see behind you?
Yeah.
And we can talk about your work and your process. And tell me, what have you been able to paint now that you have 2 little ones at home? Like, how do you do that?
I get that question a lot. I wake up so early. So, and it's kind of nice being home during quarantine. Although that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But, when the boys go to bed and I'm feeling creative, I go down and paint. When it's, early in the morning and the boys haven't woken up, I paint. Or if our nanny has been here with us, which is she's just the best. So that's been incredibly helpful. But that's allowed me to create and also continue to have an identity of my own. I could not have forecasted having this identity as an artist, as a mother, as a full-time job worker,
yeah,
as a friend. I couldn't have forecasted it, but I feel like going through infertility has given me so many skills that I never would have thought that I had. And it's given me so much strength.
It gave you a second skin. That's what it gave you. It gave you a second
crazy.
skin that you can take now things that are maybe trivial to you and say, oh, that's nothing, you know? Yeah. And everybody struggles in very different ways, and we all have our different ways of you know, attacking the problems. And for artists, I think that our studios are safe heavens, and we create, and that's the way that we record history, we record our lives. You know, will be super interesting to see in a few years, and coming back to COVID and George Floyd and everything that is happening now, how we are going to respond to that as artists. You know, it will be very interesting across the nation, across the world, how artists are responding to this. It's going to be an amazing look at history, because I think art is recorded the best way. So anyways, why don't you talk about your artwork that we have behind you, and then Jamie's going to do a demo how she uses her the syringes from you know, now they're new, but when you went through the process were your leftover ones, so she always uses
were my
new,
leftover ones. Yes. I think Brian's going to follow us around a little bit. So
okay, great.
Oh, and it's thundering here.
Okay, that doesn't matter. We can still see you, and Brian is going to have to switch the camera around so we can see you and he can follow you. Great.
Yeah. How's this look?
That's perfect. Yeah, that's great. So I just need you to,
so some recent work I've done. This one, actually, a lot of these are commissions, and I am mostly commission based. So I don't carry too much stock. I just don't have time. And what we've done, I'll show you what we've done with a lot.
And who commissions you? Who is your clientele?
Who's my base? So it started with friends. And friends, parents, etc. And it has, I get a request for a commission, if not every day, almost every other day. It's nuts, and it's a lot of women in the infertility space. And why are you laughing? It's a lot of women in the infertility space, and in fact, a lot of women send me or I go pick up their needles that they haven't used, not with the needle on it, and I use their needles in their process, in my process for their piece. Especially
so it's so
with nurseries.
personal. Yeah.
So personal. Yes. Absolutely.
So you work with nurseries too?
Yeah, I do a lot of nurseries, living rooms, offices, right now, offices, home offices, a lot of home offices right now. I feel like my art it's easy to understand.
Yeah.
It's a lot about color. It's a lot about.
Yeah, it's just the history behind it is what's most important to you, because this is something that saved you, and you're still using something personal of the mom to create the art, which is fascinating. Okay, let's go see.
Okay, all right. So this is one I did very recently, and I actually used a masking fluid underneath. So I painted the masking fluid first, and then you're gonna see my COVID nails. And then and I used a stencil to paint the masking fluid. I painted over it, and then I rubbed out the masking fluid so you can see. And then I used the same stencils to overlay. This piece is actually... Is
that on canvas or on paper?
This is on paper. So most of my pieces are on paper and have to be framed. I prefer, I use a synthetic paper.
Okay.
I use several different kinds. This one is from Nara Papers, and I think that theirs is incredible. What's great about a synthetic paper is that if I apply heat to it, it doesn't really crinkle.
Oh, that's great.
If you apply it the right way. And between commissions, so I'll do a commission, then I'll practice and do a piece. This was a practice piece. Okay. A commission and then practice, commission, then practice, and I'm constantly innovating and getting new ideas. This is all one color, actually, diluted different ways.
Oh, wow. So you use alcohol to dilute it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for the brass.
The metallic, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't get away from the metallics. I love it too much. And then this piece, I'm just taking this from Brian and going rogue. And then this piece, actually, this was a day of COVID exhaustion. And I was like, I need to paint something that makes me feel so good right now. And these colors just make me feel so good. So it's really 3 colors in here. It's really a pink, a blue, and a green. And the other colors came out from how they work together.
And do you use the syringe throughout the whole painting?
Sometimes I'll use the syringe at the end. So like in this piece right here, these were done with the syringe.
Okay.
These little dots.
Okay.
I found that putting metallics in the syringe doesn't give me the effect that I like as much. So I use them mostly for detailing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll show you guys that.
Okay.
And then this piece, I actually used a, so this shows you how they have to be framed.
I'm going to turn off the comments. I'm sorry for 1 second.
Yeah.
I forgot to do that. So I'm sorry, guys. You can see it better now. Yeah.
So I actually used a chrome detailing pen that's used for cars. Again, like just using anything that you can find. Like I went to Strode Snyder's recently, which is our local hardware store, and found a fly swatter and loved it. It was silicone and it like had the grids, and I was like, that will look so cool. So I'm going to try something this weekend with that. I'm going to use it as a stencil.
So let me ask you something, Jamie. Once you have the paper, let's say that you're working on Yupo paper, how would you frame that then?
Yeah. So so this one's on Yupo paper.
Yeah.
And then it's just framed with a plexiglass frame, and a simple, it's not matted. It's a very simple, thin.
What if you don't want to put a glass on top of it? Does that not have a glass?
They all have glass on top of them.
Okay.
For now, I'm working on resin, and I feel like I just don't have it yet.
Okay.
But once I do, they won't have to be on glass. What I found with inks specifically is that it needs to be behind glass and it needs to be sprayed with a UV spray. It's actually sprayed with several different kinds of sprays so it doesn't fade, because ink can fade very quickly.
Okay. And now I know you're maybe going to show us some textiles that you're doing too.
Yeah. So this is super fun. So as I told you, I've been a buyer for years and years, so I really understand the sourcing world, both domestically and internationally. And I have some vendors that I've been working with to create some really cool textiles. So I've been doing these 20 by 20 faux suede pillows.
It's awesome.
Thanks. And then I just started doing these circular beach well, they're like beach blankets or yoga mats, whatever it needs to be.
Yeah.
But they're awesome. They're tummy time mats. So that's been really fun.
So
and limitless.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your sourcing. So if someone wants to start a line, using their paintings, how and what way will be their best way to see first if it's an interest for people before they actually, let me see your face, Jamie, so I can talk to you while we do that.
I'll go
if let's say I want to start a product and but I don't want to buy in bulk because I'm not sure if it's going to sell or not. What is your first step?
So I would go on something that is a website specifically for print on demand that you can make single products, something like Redbubble or Society 6.
Okay.
You don't make much money, but you can mock up what they would look good on. And if it starts to look good, you can make connections in Asia. There's a lot of different ways to do that. A lot of print on demand groups that you can join. that will connect you with some of these people that you can buy in bulk and get a better price.
So who represents you? Where do you sell your stuff?
So I'm selling it on Instagram right now.
Okay.
We're working on a website. I'm working with a marketing team right now, which is like really fun and kind of hard to give up control a little bit, because this has been my baby since for like almost 5 years now. So it's been interesting in that,
So let's, you're going to now give us a little demo on how you use all your materials, and that's going to be amazing. So flip us back.
Have my husband prop you back up.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then we're going to see your table so we can see you working on it.
Yes. Can you see me? Or the table?
You have to go a little down, a little more down.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Yep, we can see you now.
Okay.
We can see the paper. There we go.
Too much. Okay.
Okay.
Right, if you can get this to go up a little bit.
Meanwhile, you have been a self-taught artist pretty much all your life, and I think that some of your pieces really look almost like a womb, like inside a womb. They're very, maybe it's an unconscious thought that you did it that way, but they really look airy and almost like baby swimming inside.
It's funny you say that. I think the same. That's funny that you said that. I really have never told anyone that.
Okay, Jamie, I can't see you at all. I can't. Okay. I'm only seeing the paper towel there. So
okay.
Maybe Brian can hold the phone for us.
Yeah, he's not.
Or right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right there. Up a little bit, Brian?
Right there.
Apologies for techno. Okay.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Let's get started.
What I'm going to do, again, I love Yupo paper. You can't see it, Brian. Do you want to just take the thing off and okay.
So that's just a folder of Yupo paper in there?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I'm going to do, the last commission that I did, or that I'm currently working on.
Yeah.
Here, Bri, do you want to make it taller?
Just if you move yourself a little bit towards the paper towel, you'll be fine.
Use the paper towel as our starting point.
And your water bottle.
So, and my water bottle. It's cute, right?
So what are the materials that you use?
Yeah, so I have alcohol.
Okay.
I have alcohol inks.
Okay.
That I'm going to use for this.
Okay.
Diluted, and I actually mix my own colors, so it's not a specific color. Sometimes if someone wants something for a pink nursery, I might mix a more of a lipstick pink with more of a cotton candy pink to get a different effect.
Okay.
So that's what this darker pink is, and then this is the same pink but a lot more diluted.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay.
And while you get started, do they have to be alcohol inks or can they be just regular inks?
I use both, but for this project it's alcohol inks.
Okay.
And I'm really going to use my breath to move the inks around.
Okay. So you literally it's like putting the syringe inside of each little bottle?
So I'll use the syringe as my alcohol, and I'll show you the extra alcohol, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm actually today going to use the syringe to make the metallics go where I want them to go.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I usually prep a canvas
It's
pretty
okay.
well. I spray alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just playing today, right?
Yes. We're just having fun.
Okay. So I love this color already. It's very soothing.
Yes. Oh, so you're blowing into it. Wow.
Yeah. And I'll actually take this gray that I love and use it as opposing. And you see how they're kind of fighting against each other.
Yes.
These two inks.
So
that,
do they not mix, or they mix if you wanted them to mix?
Yeah, they mix if you want them to mix, but I don't love when they mix.
Okay.
I like a little bit of it.
Okay.
So I actually want to create a barrier between them.
Okay.
With a metallic. So I'll take some of this gold, and then I'll take my
syringe.
Ivf syringe. This one was from my own journey.
Okay.
And I want the gold to go like this as a barrier.
Okay. Like a rim.
Yeah. So I'll do sort of a line like here. So I got that rim that I wanted. It's just a little further than I wanted it to. So sometimes I'll take an airbrush and reinforce that line.
Okay. Oh, I see. That's how you push the paint towards the line that you want it to be. So then you create a line.
Exactly. Huh. So I'm going to reinforce it again on this side.
That is so interesting.
It's fun, right?
Oh, it's a very different way of painting. That is for sure. And creating art. I've never seen this. So this is fascinating. So it's a different way because you're using your breath,
Yeah. So. Sometimes if I kind of find what I like, I feel good about it, I'm going to reinforce it with a blow dryer. I actually right here, I love what's happening here that
the division of color,
metallic, so the metallic is not only right here, it's happening right here too. So I might just reinforce that in the middle there, because I love what's going on. Then I'm getting two lines here now. Like, I think that's super cool.
When you add the heat, does that spread it even more?
Yes, but you have to be very controlled with the heat.
Okay.
Because it could ripple.
Okay.
Also, it could separate too much. It could become too bold. But if this is for a nursery, then you want it to be light, airy, ethereal. So you want it to spread. You don't want to use the heat too much.
Yeah. So can you bring the paper close to the camera so we can see it up close? Wow. Yeah.
I actually find that my breath is the best tool I have.
That is so interesting. It's very cool. And like I said, it looks almost like inside a body, and how, it really makes sense to your whole story. It really does. Yeah. I'm really fascinated by it and the process of it.
So then I'll use the IVF needles again to do some detailing. So like, I love what's going on right here.
Yeah.
That the pink is a little bit darker. You see that the lipstick natural part of the pink, not the cotton candy part.
Yes.
So I actually like to make little dots.
Is that using the same color then?
This is pure alcohol in a syringe.
Pure alcohol. Okay.
Which is not so easy to come to by these days.
No, I would assume that
I had it built up before. Yeah. I said to my husband, I was like, should I donate all my, like when the pandemic first hit, I was like, should I donate all my alcohol to a local hospital? And he was like, Jamie, this is deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yes. So Jamie, can you use acrylics if you wanted to on top of that when it dries?
Yes, absolutely. You can use fluid acrylics. I do use acrylics sometimes. I actually use I use oil-based markers sometimes to make extra lines.
Okay.
And I use acrylic-based markers as well. And if I'm doing a larger piece and I really want, see how it's easy to get this to fade out right here because it's such small scale.
Yeah.
If I'm doing a really large scale, I might use acrylics to help me spread and help Can
you bring it up again so we can see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really delicate. That's what the word that I was looking for. It's very, very delicate. And it's almost atmospheric as well. It's just, it has a little bit of everything, really.
It's relaxing.
Yeah. So, Jamie, can I see your face now?
Yeah. You want to see me again? Okay, bye.
So, did you see this artwork somewhere, or you just started experimenting with your syringes at home?
Yeah. So I've always liked, like, at trade shows when I would see abstract artwork that was delicate like this.
Yeah.
I would be very attracted to it.
Yeah.
And I researched a lot about what makes that happen, and I did start painting with acrylics at first.
Yeah.
And I dabbed a little bit in watercolors, and it just wasn't giving me exactly what I wanted. And then I really got into inks. And I like to describe inks as a great metaphor, because I'll have a distinct idea of exactly what I want to do on a page. And the inks are very hard to control. And they kind of go their own direction. You have to learn to control them, but what turns out is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think that's a metaphor for my journey to motherhood.
Yeah. I think the work of an artist, unfolds on the experience that we have. And we take those experiences. And like I said in the beginning, I think that you literally took that and applied it. And so I can't thank you enough for showing us a really inspirational and just really different way of approaching art. And this really teaches us that anyone can do art with anything. I mean, who would have thought that you would have started with syringes? And look at you now. I mean, it's really incredible what you have accomplished, and you will keep accomplishing it because you are very dedicated to what you do. And so good luck in your journey and your marketing with your textiles and all that. Jamie, tell me, because people asked me in the beginning, what is your Instagram account?
So it's called The Glitter Enthusiast.
Okay.
And we're about to LLC the Glitter Group, because the textiles will be the Glitter Goods. I really like sparkly things. And I feel bad that there isn't so much glitter in my work sometimes, but I think there's glitter in the process.
Yeah.
So
it's such a happy art, and you're such a happy person, and you can tell your soul is coming out in your painting. So thank you. I'm going to list all your materials and where we can find you and all of that. And if there's any questions, you can ask Jamie, you can ask myself. We're always available to answer any questions that you have. And any other thoughts that you have, Jamie, before we go?
I just love what you're doing. I know that we were supposed to do this a couple weeks ago, and we decided not to post so we could listen to what's going on in the world. I'm really, I have been brought up in a family that supports the Anti-Defamation League in a big way. Being a Jewish woman, I understand adversity, but not to this level. I loved taking a week and really watching, listening, educating myself, and realizing that I'm raising 2 white males. So it's time to educate them from an early point. So I really appreciate that you paused with me, that we paused together. I think that what you're doing is incredible. I know that I love how you encourage people to share. Art is very personal. and sharing kind of gets you into someone else's world a little bit.
I think that together we are so much stronger. And when we paused and we took really time to think and learn and listen, and really we're learning a lot, and we'll continue to learn, and we need to keep our heart open for education to help our world to be a better place for our children. And so, yes. So hopefully, together we will accomplish that. And like I said, I have an amazing community of artists that have trusted me through this process. And I love my army of artists, and you're one of them. So thank you, Jamie. And next up on Wednesday will be Robert Mars. So you don't want to miss that on Wednesday at noon Central Time. And thank you, Jamie, so much. And thank you, everyone that joined us today. And we'll see you soon, guys. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.